The living dead are walking among us. Shambling, undead ghouls, hungry for human flesh. They've taken over our homes, our businesses, and even our shopping malls. In this video, I've survived in the Mall of America in Project Zomboid, starting with only one tile. Every time I slay a zombie, I unlock another tile. So starting off on the rooftop of the Mega Mall, I have a few objectives in this challenge. 1. Fight my way out of my spawn tiles to enter the mall. 2. Secure a source of food and water for sustenance and longer-term survival. 3. Raid the mall for weapons to fight larger swarms of the undead. And 4. Use all of this to unlock more tiles in the wider world inside and outside the mall to the greater Louisville region. It all begins with the first day. I spawned in on day 1 on the mall rooftop, only a backpack and a baseball bat in my inventory, and only the starting tile to move around inside of. Within seconds, it's off to the first trial with 3 ghouls approaching, widening my zone to tiles 2, 3, and 4. Next. Of the 2 doors nearby, one fell through constant banging of the undead. 3 more approach, unlocking tiles 5, 6, and 7. Now, with enough room to move around in, I could move closer to either entrance to get a better sense of my surroundings. On top of that, one ghoul dropped a helmet for added armor and protection from bites and scratches. Time passes. Bit by bit, more shuffle toward me from the mall's entrance halls. Then, one by one, I managed to shift my way back toward a maintenance closet, which I thought might contain more weapons. Something I could improvise. I knew my bat wouldn't last long, and there were more ghouls banging on the doors nearby, signaling others lurking just around the corner. With another 2 approaching, by around 3 in the afternoon, I'd finally managed to unlock enough tiles to secure a foothold in the maintenance closet behind me, and with it a doorway for taking larger groups of ghouls on in smaller chunks. Nothing crazy for the loot in the storage closet, just a pipe wrench, but it would help me last a little longer before I was forced to go wrestling with my bare hands. With one more shout, I've attracted the last of the nearby ghouls for a fight backed up against the security of the maintenance closet door. With all that conflict, it's enough to unlock the last tiles. 1, 2, 3, and 4 to peek my way at last into the sliver of an entrance at the back of the mall. Nothing grand, just a maintenance hallway behind the stores, but it's better to start small than attracting too many at once. Making a little more progress, I called out to the left and right to signal a few more from either side to bat them down. Along with it, unlocking enough tiles to take a peek beyond the maintenance halls to the main concourse of the mall. Just 20 paces or so from my position. Lots more experience with the bat and lots more wrestling, all leading to enough tiles to finally step foot out onto the second level of the mall's main plaza, teeming with undead. Just everywhere, and honestly, more than I can deal with right now. With all that, it's enough to steal a sneak peek, then make my way back to the mall rooftop to deal with the one last ghoul remaining inside the security office. Then path my way over to the metal chair on the other side of the room, and finally shut myself off in isolation with the chair in the maintenance closet. This will be my bed for tonight. The first day coming to a close, and with it, a well-earned rest. 74 zombies killed, and a level up in my melee skill. But along with it, mounting anxiety from the gnawing hunger and weight loss since I still hadn't located any food. But that's all for now. After a long slumber, it's a rise to another day of retracing my footsteps and handling the undead that have now shown up in the places where I just cleared them. It's a long and winding travel ahead to get all the way around the concourse to the deli on the 2nd floor across the way. Hopefully a source of food and sustenance to keep me going. But whether my weapons or hunger would give out first was a toss-up. For now, it's careful footwork, swinging with the pipe wrench and making sure there's always enough room to back up, dreading the possibility of getting surrounded and trapped with no tiles left to unlock behind me. After a lot more swinging and unlocking with it the whole path to lead up to the entrance of the deli, that's the last of what I can accomplish on the second day. It was getting dark and difficult to see around me. Along with the mounting hunger, it's too risky, and it's off to sleep before giving this one last shot tomorrow, just short of starvation and dehydration. Day 3. Weak from hunger and thirst, this time it's off to using all the newly secured territory to path all the way again once more into the store. After a lot more wrestling, it led me straight to meat. Glorious meat. And the sink for refilling my water bottle. Now I'd met the next of my primary goals, securing a source of food and water. Check. And along with it, a quick scan of the back fridges. I'd easily have enough food to last for days, if not weeks in advance. The tension was lightened, if only for a short while. At the end of the day, I spent my last tiles to climb the staircase back above my spawn location. I'd spent more than enough time around the rotten, decaying corpses of the undead the last few days, and I'd need a clear resting place to sleep soon, or else risk some further contamination. possibly disease. But not until one more night had passed. And so, by the middle of day 5, it was back up for more ghoul slaying. And with it, enough tiles to secure a sleeping spot in the back room of another security office located even higher above the mall from where I'd spawned. Far from any ghoul corpses polluting the air around me. Safe at last. For now. And so now, with most of my immediate needs covered, I contemplate longer-term planning ahead of me. Day 6. I set out after I awoke to start searching the back maintenance closets of the mall for some type of weapon. It started with blunt objects used for makeshift bludgeons like griddle pans, and ended with metal bars and other heavy objects I found lying behind the stores. Until by the end of the afternoon I'd started a new count, slaying zombies one by one in pursuit of greater armaments. All until I came upon one, armed with a katana. The homage to Tarantino. This would be a major game changer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and more. The katana was the ultimate weapon, slicing through ranks of the undead like butter. It was all enough to make my way northward in the mall to a completely new section. This time, not hiding anymore, but announcing my presence to attract as many as I could to my location. Utilizing the armory of new weapons at my disposal, I carved my way northward to the double stairway on the north side of the mall. All the while, I used the stairway to funnel the undead into a neat path for disposal, and along with it, unlocking more space to maneuver around in and make my job easier. Quickening my pace, after a few more hours of this, I'd managed to work my way to the back of the store adjacent to the stairway and creep behind the back hallways at the very edge of the mall, probably teeming now with undead from the streets nearby. At last, when I opened the door, swarms of them, pounding on the double doors to the mall's exit. A huge boon for new tiles, but also far more than I could confidently fight at once, especially with my weapon's losing condition. It was careful fighting and backtracking for now, opening up wider paths for fear of locking myself into some grisly dead end with no escape. Opportunity yields an exciting turn for treasure, but also along with it, anxiety over a lack of training and preparation. I couldn't fully seize on the moment, but it would take a while to clear them all out, and every wasted tile was more breath, water, and food that I could have used somewhere else. From here, it was a lot more clearing, but by day 9, I had saved up over 50 tiles, more than enough to path a long line all the way from the back of the hallway entrance westward to the nearby shops, all the way leading up to the end of the hall, where the gun store lay with its back entrance wide open for looting. But along with it, all corralled in the very end of the dark and narrow corridor, perhaps the largest mob of ghouls I'd encountered up until that point. I took a chance. By this point, I could nearly taste it. A vast armory of power all within a stone's throw. I crept into the back room of the gun store. The first foray was nothing that special, a couple items, but among them an assault rifle and some ammunition. But nothing more, not least until I cleared more tiles to go exploring the rest of the store's contents. And so, making out like a thief, I'd gotten away with it. Fully armed and ready for more this time, I crept back out the way I came, now ready for more encounters to signal the undead from even further out than before. Day 10. Somehow, through all my gunshots and clearing, I must have dispersed the horde at the back of the hallway. So I returned to the gun store, adding to my arsenal with a handgun and more magazines and options, but constantly wrapped up in the cognitive tangle of what to do next. And despite all my success, it was becoming readily apparent in my gut I might have missed out on the fundamental long-term limitation in the midst of securing all my short-term needs. With no more undead left to fight, when you run out of tiles, your resources have a precarious tendency to dry up fast. Oh well. So maybe that was it. To survive, I'd need to keep reaching out on new frontiers. Grow or die. So I armed myself and carved my way out into new tiles on the mall's main entrance concourse, storming down to reach for the exit, and with it, the open outdoors, preparing to blast out lead to signal any I could. But before that, another night of sleep. Day 11. Sure enough, plenty more had filtered their way back into the mall's main plaza. With plenty of ground now secured, I fought them from above head, outranging those on the ground and hammering any that came up to meet me. Just tons of fighting. Would it be enough? I pathed my way at last back all the way to the main entrance plaza and straight up to the glass doors at the mall entrance, advertising my presence like window goods to any undead nearby that could see me. But still, nothing. Maybe the sad irony is the human tendency to always be dissatisfied, to be agitated, No matter how many goals you accomplish, no matter how many mountains you climb, your problems today, even if you do solve them, will only evolve into bigger problems tomorrow. Sure, there'll be better problems, but by day 12, as I eyed the drying spout of the faucet, my only source of water, it got me wondering how we get caught up in the details and lose sight of the bigger picture. And when you first hear it, it sounds depressing, but the sooner you realize it, the less likely it is to hit you in the face someday, unawares. Sure, I'd survived, but if my rule for the road I'd followed up to this point led me to this, derelict, of what use was that rule? So it's my lot to sit here waiting and grinding away every day, burning my resources and eking out tile by tile any ghoul that roams my way. A well-oiled machine, strategizing for how to make more than the sum of my resources and produce more fuel than I burn. I could tell you that the mall is an allegory for life, or that the tiles are a metaphor for progress or time. But maybe the real question is, what is it to you? All you who pass by. I think that's about enough for now. I survived in Project Zomboid for 12 days and killed over 700 zombies. All just to sojourn here. But for now, I'm Ambiguous Amphibian. A big thanks to my patrons who are also trapped, like many of you, in an imaginary prison of self-imposed logic and problems. Until next time.